Guys, welcome back to Before the First Cast. I know I was not here last week. I was on a work business trip, but we're back this week. Guys, I have a special guest, Mr. Bruce Callis, with us. Bruce, how are you doing tonight?
Doing great, man. Tired, but great.
I understand that. So, what have you been up to since we last talked?
Just fishing.
Hmm.
I mean, I went out fishing today. I guess I had over 20 pounds for my best five, so I consider that a good day.
So, what were you catching them on? Tell everybody what you were catching them on.
I was catching them on three different baits. I was using most of my fish came on a missile baits destroyer in watermelon red
Mhm.
until I ran out. Then I switched over to green pumpkin. I was using a missile baits Uh, Blueback Secret on a wacky rig, and then I had to switch over. I ran out of those, so I had to switch over to a Gary Yamamoto, some kind of color anyway.
The tried and true Gary
Yeah,
Yamamoto.
yeah.
Now, what were you throwing the destroyer on? Were you Texas rigging it, Carolina rigging it?
Texas rig for the destroyer, and then of course wacky for the missile baits, magic worm, and the uh, Cinco.
No, Nico rigs. Come on
Nope.
now, that's the new
That,
style.
that's the new style, but they didn't want it.
That's true. They have to be in the mood for it.
They do. And I would have been better if that lady hadn't caught my big fish today. But I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, guys, tonight's gonna be a little different episode. I'm in between transitioning. I used to have a boat. We're gonna talk about it, but I can't decide if I want to go to the boat world, back to the boat world, the kayak world, or keep fishing the bank. So I brought Bruce on here. He's actually the genius behind the idea of this podcast. So I brought him on to kind of help me decide or sway me one way or the other. So Bruce, we're just gonna get into it. So let's just kind of break down the boat side of it. We today's world, the new boat industry, they're gonna pay 130,000 easily for a brand new boat or more
Yep.
than the used world, you have to be careful what you get because some are better than others. And,
Yes.
I just, in the time of life I'm in right now, I don't think that's feasible. Definitely not a new boat because I'm not willing to shake out 130,000. Um, Used, I'm just really skeptical about used boats unless they come from a dealership. So, what's your thought on the boating industry right now?
Well, they're overpriced. I mean, they're great. Don't get me wrong. I love a boat, but even I don't have one because it's break out another thousand every time you turn around. So it does get, and that's not including gas and insurance.
Right.
So, it gets expensive. Now you can go the other route
Mm-hmm.
and you could go with a John boat.
Mm.
You still have a boat and you can fish it in more places than a bass boat will go because you can put a trolling motor on the back and go in the electric only
Mm.
because
Yeah.
there are a lot of places electric only.
Yeah. I only know one place that's near us, which is Carvin's Cove, that's electric only. Or I think they just changed it. You can have like under a 50, I think. Um,
Uh,
but
Well, I
yeah.
mean, I went to one that was a 3 horsepower limit,
Mm.
and I'm going 3 horsepower. That's a small, but it's made so it doesn't pollute because
Hmm.
most of them are drinking water,
Yeah.
so
That's
they
what.
want to keep the gas out.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, you take Sandy and you take um, some of the other places where you can't have a gas motor.
Hmm.
Now, if you go to a boat with electric only, you can always buy a motor, put on the back like a 9.9, and
Hmm.
you can move it back and forth.
Yeah.
Just put a gas can in the back and a 9.9, and you can run a tank of gas all day long.
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, I've
And
used them at Chick.
Wow, that's Chick's a big river too, though.
Well, the Chick Lake,
Okay, Chick Lake.
Chickahominy Lake.
Mhm.
Um, but you're still getting up to like 15 miles an hour. And I mean,
It's
who's out unless I'm fishing a set tournament,
mhm,
you're out there to have fun.
right.
I want to go catch fish, but this will just get me into the back where I want to go anyway without having to go to a different ramp.
Mhm,
So I mean, it works great.
right.
And like I said, electric. And I'm sorry, but if you've looked at these electric only clubs,
Mhm.
these guys have thousands upon thousands of dollars invested into motors just to move the boat back and forth.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's crazy, and that's kind of like going how the kayak game's going as well. If you look at some of these, pro or professional built kayaks, they're easy 5 grand with
Oh,
all the stuff they have on them. Which
oh
I'm,
no, it's more than that.
yeah,
I mean,
well,
it
yeah,
really is. I
and
mean, they've got forward-facing sonar, and they've got that big
the
motor on the who makes that one? The big
Newport,
motor on the back.
is
Yeah,
it the
Newport makes one, and then you've got
torpedo?
Torpedo.
Yeah,
Yeah, and now
and
you've got Bixby. That's
mhm,
a whole different story. So I mean, there's plenty to get around with. But
mhm,
now, if you go kayak, you don't really have to have a motor.
right,
You can get a pedal drive, and that way it will allow you to move around without having to paddle all the time.
mhm,
Always have a paddle. Never depend on just your legs, because if you get hurt, if you get a muscle cramp in your leg and you can't pedal, now what are you going to do? So
uh,
you've always got to have that paddle.
you're
Um,
up the creek without a paddle.
yeah, you're in bad shape, man. You're in bad shape.
Yeah,
But yeah, and that's a whole different world. And then you've got a lot of choices when you're talking about a kayak and getting into what you want.
mhm,
Um, do you want to set on top? Do you want to set inside? Do you want a big for the set inside? Do you want a big cockpit or do you want a real smaller cockpit? Um, I know
yeah,
Vibe right now has a new one out that has a much bigger cockpit area, so it's
mhm,
more open for you to move around, set stuff inside. It's a
right.
big difference.
And I guess my biggest question is, can you be competitive in a kayak fishing tournament, say a big tournament, with just your simplistic kayak, with not even, I mean, not even pedal driven, just a straight sit on top kayak.
You can, if you
Right.
know what you're doing. Unless you're going to fish somewhere where you've got to have forward-facing sonar, you
Mhm,
can pretty much. I mean, nothing says you have to have a motor to go 2 miles upriver and then let it drift back. You
mhm,
can still paddle. I'm sorry, but uh, Jacob had a motor, and I'm keeping up with him just paddling.
mhm.
But
Yeah.
then again, I paddle different than everybody else because I grew up paddling the canoe.
Mhm.
So you have a whole different aspect of how to get the most powerful stroke out,
Right.
which I take pride in knowing I can paddle fast.
Yeah, and I kind of I wish I would have grew up in the kayak world because I went straight into just straight bass boat fishing. So I kind of got spoiled in that kind of realm. But I really wish I could have learned the kayak fishing world first. I think it would have helped me be more successful in the bass boat. But you learn a lot like angles and castability, where that kind of thing in a kayak because you have to be pretty spot on, and because you're lower in the water, which kind of helps you in a way too.
Yeah. I mean, you can buy a big kayak that
Hmm.
you can stand on. And I will tell you this, you see plenty of people standing up.
Hmm.
I do not suggest standing up and trying to fish because if you go to set the hook,
Hmm.
there's nothing for you to lean back on. You
That's
know,
true.
when you set that hook, if you miss, that's a lot of weight being shifted around. So there's, I'm sorry, I I I take a lot of pleasure in watching those people sit there and set the hook or miss and on the set and not fall overboard.
Hmm.
I can't do it.
See, I'm not very sturdy on my feet anyways. I'm really clumsy, people tell me. So I don't think I would trust myself standing up in a kayak. Like, it's just, I know they're super sturdy, but you're right. If you set the hook, you know, hard enough and your momentum's going back, there's nothing to stop you. I mean,
Now I want to be able to stand up just to stand up and stretch my legs,
hmm.
which sounds weird. You're in a kayak, can't you just straighten your leg out? And but it's different to stand up. You know yourself. If you're sitting on the sofa,
Hmm.
you got to stand up and move around a little bit, get the blood circulating back. So I
Yeah,
don't mind that, but I don't want to go fishing and stand up.
right. Because I
But if
talked
you
to
can stand,
Alex Wood a little a couple months back, and he, of course, he has a bass boat, and he's in. He said he likes the kayak world more than the bass fishing world. Um, it's just he said the competition's kind of like an even playing field because you
yes,
can't, you're not having all these electronics or, you can put it all in there, but you really don't need to be competitive, is what he said.
the more, the
Your
yeah,
standard works.
the more you put on, the more you have a chance to lose.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
and that's kind of what I've kind of got talking to different people is like you don't need a lot to be competitive.
yeah,
Um,
I've got a low rance,
mhm,
an older low rance unit, a 7 inch,
mhm,
and it's going to tell me how deep the water is, how warm the water is. I've got a map that'll tell me the trail that I've been on so I can get back to where I was, if nothing else. And
mhm,
that's all you really need. I mean, granted, now if you're into that big Bass Nation and
mhm,
all like that, the Bassmaster and all, you may need forward facing sonar, but you're like the tournament I'm fishing now, you don't need it.
mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm fishing out of Coleman Crawdad, which is a plastic 11-foot John boat.
Mhm,
I love it to death. And all I've got on it, I've got a Garmin, but it's got side scan and down view. That's about it. No forward facing sonar. Um, I'm going if I need that, then I'm just going to not fish. I'll just
right.
go fish for fun, not go fish a tournament if
Mhm,
I've got to have forward facing sonar to compete. And that's not saying I don't like forward facing sonar. It's
right.
just saying I don't need it to have fun.
Right. And I think that's the biggest thing too with that, with that deal is once you get into the forward facing sonar deal, fishing to me is not fun anymore because 9 times out of
Yeah.
10, if you don't have it, you're going to get beat by it. But if you have it, you know, you're still not having fun because all you're doing is sitting there looking at a screen. And
Well,
majority of the time, you throw at a group of fish, they ain't going to bite because
yeah,
they're adapting to it. They know it's
yeah,
there.
yeah. It's only a tool that will show you fish, not catch you fish.
Correct.
And that's one of the things that people forget. It's only a tool.
Hmm.
Yes, it's nice to be able to sit there and try to fool that fish, but it's like bed fishing. You're going to sit there and spend hours trying to catch one fish.
Yeah, and I'm like an old school fisherman. I like beating the bank. I like throwing a spinner bait, crankbait.
Yep.
I'm a bank beater, shaky head, whatever. I cannot sit there and look at a screen. I've actually had this happen because I had it on my last boat, and I was getting dizzy just looking at the screen and
Yeah.
getting lightheaded because I was like, I had to take a break from this for a minute because it's just too much on a screen and sensory overload for me. But
Right.
I'm just an old
It's
timer.
like today, I'm out there I've got it on, no forward facing, but I've got my,
Hmm.
sonar on. I only looked at it when I was moving from one spot to another spot. It's the only time I really looked at it because you can see what you're throwing at if you're beating the bank.
Right. And that's the
Uh,
thing as well is that's why I like learning down imaging and side imaging. If you know what you're looking for, you're gonna find fish if you know what you're looking for on
yeah,
down and side imaging.
yeah,
That's what I study a lot because, when you're at the console of a boat, you're looking at the map, you're looking down scan, side scan, and if you find, say, a ledge, in the summertime that's where they're going to be. I mean,
yeah,
majority of the time,
yeah.
or springtime. You don't really need electronics in the springtime, to be honest. You can just cut them off and just go down the bank. We saw it at Smith Mountain Lake with the elites or the pros coming here. I mean, most of them were just minus Nick Hatfield. Most of them were beating the bank at Smith,
Yeah.
which was incredible to see. Um, and from what I understand, the reason Nick Hatfield won is he found a pretty special point throughout practice. Um, but I was just
And somebody
amazed.
wasn't happy.
Oh yeah, I know.
Somebody wasn't happy that he showed off one of their spots.
Hmm. Yeah, I saw that. But that's going to happen when the pros come. I mean, they're going to find the little nuances. They're going to find the honey holes or the community holes. That's just they're good at that. I mean, I don't know what else to say because I talked to Drew Gill when they came off the water. I think it was that first day of tournament. And he said, "Great fishery, super healthy, but he had trouble finding them. But once he found them, he knew exactly what to do." So I was like,
Yeah,
"See, I don't have that mindset because I'm like a run and gun. Brian thrifted, let's go." Um,
yeah.
but it was just cool to like see them break it down. I don't know, but I don't know how we got on that tangent, but
I don't know.
it was it was good to see somebody break down a water that you're very familiar with, and you want to go out there and do the same thing. But
Yeah, it shows you something that you've never looked at a lot of times,
hmm
or something you didn't think about, and that's what I love is seeing that. But back to the kayak and boat. Now, if you go kayak, you've got to decide set on or set in.
hmm
And I've always had the thing if you can go test out a kayak
hmm
before you buy one, because all of them are different. All of them have a tipping point.
hmm
Some kayaks will go to a certain point on the lean and then it'll stop.
mm
Some of them will just keep on rolling.
Oh,
So there's a difference in the boats,
hmm
in the kayaking. So you have to know which one you want.
hmm
Um, and you have to look at you got to crawl into it to start fishing, but you have to crawl out of it if you're in the set in when you get done. So
right.
if you spend 10, 12 hours on the day out there on the water, now you're tired and you got to come back and you got to get up out of that boat.
Right.
And as you get older, things will hurt, things will become harder to use, like knees, and you have to look at all of that.
Yeah,
Um,
and that's kind of why I'm leaning more towards the sit on top because all the research I've done, they're pretty easy to get in and out of. Um,
right.
I know the sit in, that's like your standard kayak, like I wouldn't say a river kayak, but something you would go rafting in or something like that.
Yeah, on the rivers, you can take them in the ponds and all.
Mhm.
And if you're going to go ocean, you've got to have a totally different kayak
Mm,
because your standard lake and river kayak will not work in the ocean. It's a whole different thing. You're facing waves that are, you
yeah.
know, can swamp you. So you
Mhm.
have to know that and plan for it and everything.
Well,
Um,
luckily, I don't plan on ocean fishing. I'm scared of. I'll be honest. I'm scared of the ocean. I don't like it.
I'm only scared of sharks.
I I don't know. I just have a fear of the ocean that I only get up to my probably waist high is about as high as I go. But I don't think I'll be out in there. past the break of the waves kayak fishing. But yeah, I'm
No,
scared too. I don't know how these people do the surf fishing thing. No.
well, I mean, you're standing. If you go to the ocean and you walk out up to your knees, you're deep enough for a shark to come get you.
Oh yeah.
So, I
Mm-mm.
mean, people don't realize that. And you get all these reports saying, oh, there's sharks in the ocean. And I'm going, did you know they were there before you ever got told they were there?
Right.
I mean, they were there when I was a kid. We just didn't pay attention. I don't know what hit me on the foot. I mean,
Mm.
something hit me.
But yeah, you see all these people like on kayaks and stuff getting attacked by sharks. No, no,
Yep.
no, no. Or like jet
No,
skis. No,
no.
no. Mm,
I want a
yeah.
big boat.
Mm-hmm. You better have me on a deep sea vessel if I'm fishing for that.
Mhm. Yeah, I want a nice big boat that's got a big motor that can get me away from Jaws.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I mean, I've been talking to Justin Largen. He's a missile baits guy as well, kayak
Right,
guy, and
right.
I've been talking kind of me trying to game plan actually what I want, and he's been kind of coaching me up on. So what are you gonna fish? Are you gonna fish rivers, lakes, like you know what are what is your plan? Well, my plan is to be competitive either in a club or maybe uh, maybe the Bass Nation of some sort. So he was kind of telling me, well, you should look at this boat or that boat, and kind of giving me the game plan. So I want to lean
Okay.
towards that way, but I know they're also they can be expensive, but they're more affordable than a boat, obviously.
Oh yeah. I mean, for $2,000, you can get a kayak, a good quality kayak,
Hmm.
and what you need to get out on the water. Don't
Yeah.
skimp on the life jacket. That's the biggest thing with a kayaker is don't skimp on getting
Mhm.
that well fit life jacket because
Right.
it's you're going to wear it all day and you should wear it all day if nothing else, but you need to wear it all day long while you're in it and it needs to be comfortable. Don't go inflatable. I
Hmm.
love inflatables, but inflatables in a kayak, if you fall out, your life jacket's already done. Now you got
Hmm.
to go get it rearmed before you can use it again anyway.
So I've seen a lot of people use like
Who is
the
it?
fly fishing ones, like the fly fishing that already has the, I guess, flotation stuff in it, and it's kind of like half. I don't even know what you would call it, but
Well, NRS, I think it's NRS. They
hmm
sell kayaking life jackets with all those pockets in it that
hmm
looks like a trout one. It's not a trout one. It is a kayak uh, life jacket, but it's
hmm
got all those pockets. You can put your phone in it. You can
hmm
put the knife in case something happens and you fall over. You have a knife to cut the ropes and get out of the kayak.
yeah,
I
and
mean,
that's what I was thinking of. I think is I said fly, but I meant trout. I think because yeah, but yeah, don't skimp on the life jacket because that could be life or death. You between
yeah,
life or death right there.
that's it.
Especially you know, even though it's summertime, you know, we just had a boating accident. What in Georgia? I think it was where the
Yeah.
boat was spinning, and then he didn't make it either. I don't
A-
think he was wearing his life jacket, but
And he probably didn't have a kill switch attached either.
no. But good thing with a
And
kayak, you don't need that. But with a boat, you do. Um,
if you have if you have a motor on it, you may have a kill switch for it too.
I didn't know that. Like a trolling motor, or just like the power that one.
Well, there are trolling motors that have kill switches built in
Hmm.
that you can attach to you so that if something happens, it will die.
Hmm.
Um, like your what is it? Torpedo. They have a
Hmm.
kill switch.
Huh? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Hmm.
my buddy has one on the back of his boat that has a kill switch on it.
Huh?
Doesn't do any good because he puts the thing in it and has it stuck to it, and that's it. But I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, he's in a John boat,
Hmm.
and Well, they say you have to have a throw cushion.
Hmm.
Well, if you're on the boat by yourself, who's going to throw the cushion?
Uh, Casper the Ghost,
Yeah,
probably. I
I
mean,
mean, you're overboard. Who's going to throw the cushion?
mm,
I
yeah,
mean, and in a kayak, your cushion that you sit on needs to be floatable so that you can use it for
right.
whatever you need. Even if it is to throw it to somebody else. If
That's
it floats, it'll help save somebody.
yeah. I mean, definitely always have your safety equipment. We can't.
Yeah,
You know, that's one thing that saves people's lives, and a lot of people take it for granted until they actually need it. Um,
yeah,
that's why whistles are important, or horns, or whatever.
yeah,
I didn't realize how important whistles were until I was actually like dead in the water one day and like couldn't get anybody's attention until I had that whistle, and luckily a U.S. towboat came by. Boy, that was an
yeah,
expensive tow, but
yeah. Well,
but no,
but a
definitely.
whistle does fine if you're out on a big lake, but
Mhm,
doesn't do any good if you're on, even if it, though it's public, it's like the refuge near
mhm.
me. A lot of times nobody's out on the water but me.
Yeah, so I mean, what good is a whistle gonna
And,
do if nobody's listening?
and yeah, and the refuge staff doesn't come down there because they
Mhm,
have, I think it's 7 units on that one, the Rappahannock River National Wildlife Refuge system. I think
mhm.
there's 7 or 8 different units. And
Hmm.
so they could be anywhere.
Well,
And the office is actually not down by the pond anyway.
yeah, it's that's a big area too.
Yeah,
It should be a while before they even get to you, if they get to you.
and
But
that's it. So you got to have the cell phone and keep it in a dry bag
mhm,
so that you don't get it wet. It doesn't go out on you. Um, One thing I will say is if you're in a kayak, get a leash for your phone
mhm.
so that it will never drop overboard.
Oh
It
yeah.
attaches to something like it could attach to the chair.
Mhm.
I keep mine attached to me so that because I'm doing a tournament, I have to take pictures. It's easy to find the phone. When I'm taking the picture, it doesn't fall overboard
Right.
when you're trying to control the fish.
And most people hook. I don't. They hook it to the back of the seat if they're on a sit on top. They'll hook it to the back of the seat. Which I don't like that because what if you don't know if it falls in the water? I mean,
Yeah,
it's just dragging in the water and you don't know about it. Um,
yeah. Well, I like it up. And if you're going to take pictures of the catch,
mhm,
like on a bump board, you don't want it on the seat where it's going to be stuck behind you. It goes backwards, and then you can't find it,
right. Then you got to stand up and look for it. Yeah,
and then you might fall over.
yeah. I mean, there's there's a lot of that goes into the. But a bump board is another big thing that you're going to need if you want to fish tournaments. Um,
Yep.
and you have to be
Uh,
very skilled at taking pictures too because it's very kind of what is the
it's
word?
not as everybody wants to say it's difficult.
Hmm.
It's not that difficult. It's just learning the process.
Right.
Uh, Make sure the mouth touches the end of the board. Make sure it's
Hmm.
closed. Make sure you don't cover the fish up with your hands when you're trying to take the picture. And make
Right.
sure the identifier comes up in the picture also. Some
Yeah.
of them have it and you can write it on your hand, some cards.
Hmm.
Every bump board is different. What I think Catch and Yak Attack have an attachment that you can put on the board to
Hmm.
hold the card so it's never gone anywhere. It's
Right.
always there.
Yeah.
I've got a strap that goes around mine that I keep down below where the tail is, and I leave like an
Hmm.
inch or so that when you pick your phone up to take a picture, you're looking down on it, you see both ends, you've got it covered.
Hmm.
And always look at that picture before you release the bass. If the
So,
mouth was open, you
mhm,
can always do another picture.
right. So, is there? a specific way you have to hold your phone? Is it a portrait, landscape? What are they like
I
to see?
land Well, landscape works
Mhm,
because of the fact that you need to catch the length of the bass.
mhm,
So if you're doing, if you like everybody's got the cell phone standing straight up and you're trying to take a picture, now you got to go way up in the air to
mhm.
try to look down on the fish. You're doing
Right.
landscape, use
You
your
can just
zoom, go out a little bit, you can see everything, take the picture, you can put the fish in a net, look
mhm.
at your picture, and then if everything looks good,
Just
pick the
release.
fish up, get that selfie with it so that you always look good with it, and
Mhm.
do a video of the release. And you got a lot of for social media.
Yeah, you got a lot of those good pictures, don't you? A
Yeah,
lot of
I
those
do.
good selfies.
Yeah. I mean, you have to.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah. So let's
I
transition
mean,
to a bank angler. I know this is.
is that
Oh
coming
yeah,
up?
look at you already showing them. Oh, looky there.
Yeah, that's a 6 pounder from today.
Ooh, look at you.
Yeah,
Oh, so did you post that one to the tournament you're in?
it is up on the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I did put that one up. I'm not leading.
Hmm.
Um, and actually right now I don't know what place I'm in. They turned off the standings.
Hmm.
It runs through Sunday, but the standings are turned off so
Hmm.
that know if you want to
Nobody.
go fishing, you better go find some big ones and just keep posting them because you
Yeah,
might lose.
that's
Um,
true.
Off the last standings that I saw, which would have been last week, um, I'm in second,
Mm.
but I don't know if anybody's caught anything else. So I don't know.
So it's any fish count, correct? Or is it bass?
Bass.
Okay.
It can be largemouth, smallmouth, and spotted.
Okay.
So you can have any of the three.
Mm.
Um, this tournament is the eighth biggest because of the length of time it was.
Gotcha.
Because a shorter tournament, less fish,
Mm-hmm.
and it's harder for everybody to have that always getting into it. And eight's not a bad number.
Mm-mm.
Um, I think 166 inches was the last I saw leading. So that's over 20 inches of fish,
That's not bad.
which mean which means that you're in the 5+ pound for all of
Category.
that.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
and the guy, I think the guy that's leading it, no, that was the last one. I think he went out and had a great day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
That gives
and
me the chance to go out and fish a few different places because not everybody's going to have a pond that produces a pond, a lake, a river that only produces big ones.
yeah, and to learn more about this tournament, can they fish anywhere from any, kind of
And as
anything they
long as
want,
it's public,
as long as
it's
it's
got to
public?
be public. It's got to be public. Now this one runs out on the 15th,
Mm-hmm.
and for this you have to be a Patreon member.
Gotcha.
So that
And this is
and
through fishing the DMV.
fishing the DMB, and Brian actually is one of the sponsors this time,
Gotcha.
so that helps.
So the Bass
But you,
Cat sponsoring
yeah, the basscast.com is a
sponsor.
sponsor
Yep.
of it, and it's fun.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
mean, I win, I lose. I don't care. I'm out having fun.
and that's the main thing. It's just getting out
Yeah,
there and getting out there and learning
that's it.
what they're eating. You know what works, what doesn't work this time of year. I mean, it, fishing's a learning game, and I've kind of learned
Yeah,
to appreciate that because you're never gonna know everything about a fish.
no,
I mean, people
no,
think
you're
they
not.
do, but they adapt to everything. Um,
Yeah,
But no,
Yeah,
I definitely encourage if you guys don't follow Fishing the DMV or the basscast.com, please go follow them. Thomas
yeah,
is cute. He does a great job over there. His Patreon's growing substantially, I think,
it is. It
since he
is.
started it. I think the Basscast is trying to start one too, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
they we do have one. It's not a lot of members right now, but working on it.
Well, and
Got to get some members first.
it's like everything; it's got to grow. It's got to
It's got
catch
to
on.
grow.
Also,
I mean,
we
it's
had
like our the
go ahead.
newsletter. The
I was just about
newsletter.
to bring that up.
Yeah, I mean, we've got that. You write, I write, Carson Maddox writes,
Hmm.
and
We just got a
we
new
try to
writer, I
give
think.
great tips. I think he's only going to do tournament scenes, though,
Mm,
if I remember correctly.
yeah. Um, but no, we have great articles. I mean, great tips.
Yep,
Great. I mean, I think this time since it's going to hit around Father's Day, I think actually on
yeah,
Father's Day.
yep,
Um, I have kind of to spoil it a little bit, but I have came out with a Father's Day gift guide for anybody trying to get their husband, dad, whatever, a gift. I've kind of broken down what I would honestly what I would want, but is necessity for anybody trying
yeah,
to fish. So I start from rain gear and I go all the way to line, tackle, terminal, anything they need.
yeah,
And they'll and I linked it to discount tackle, so you can go look at what I was looking at.
yeah.
So yeah, and I mean that's and you're writing about what staying cool. I think in the summer.
Um, I, I don't know. That's kind of hard. It isn't easy. I mean, it was hot today.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, just it's basic things that you need to do,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that's what I'm gonna go with.
Yeah, and
Uh,
Carson's going to be a wild card. We don't know what he's writing about just yet. We never do until it comes out. So.
no, and I guess that's what makes it so interesting is the fact that you don't really. It's not a set thing that we have to do.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, sometimes we'll do baits. Sometimes we'll do something that's current.
Right.
But I mean, this is something that all fishermen should know.
Mhm.
What to get dad.
Mhm.
Um, how to stay cool when you're out there on the water, because a lot of people get so hot they're gonna get miserable and then they go home.
Mhm.
Um,
Or worse, they get dehydrated and
then they end
actually.
up in the hospital.
Yep.
Yeah. So I
Um,
mean, all those little things add up. It sounds like we're trying to push, life jacket, do this, do that when you're on the water.
mhm.
It's not because we're trying to tell you what to do. We're trying to give you hints to make you survive and live to do it again.
Or
And
even
that's
better,
all it is.
or even further than that, somebody's probably experienced something like that to address that. Like, hey, if you don't wear your life jacket and you fall out, you're in trouble. Like, or you know, just something like that. If you do not properly prepare for a hot day, something
Yeah.
bad may happen. Um,
Yeah.
so
Well,
it's
it's
more,
like,
yeah.
I mean, they have one on Fishing the DMV where they were talking about in the river using an anchor and
Hmm.
how bad it was because of the fact that if it hooks and snags, your kayak's going under, and so are
Right.
you. And so now that life jacket becomes even more important.
Hmm.
And then if you're in the kayak when it flips, what if you get tangled up with the anchor rope? Now you got to have that knife to cut it.
Right.
Everything matters is to everything that you do. The
Right.
type of anchor you use in a river and the type of anchor you would use in a pond are two different things.
Right.
Brian was talking about using, what is it, a drag train chain.
I think
So
so.
instead of, yeah, and it doesn't stop you as much as it does slow you down.
Hmm.
Um,
Which would be useful in a river,
yeah, that
in a
would be
flowing
more
river. Yeah.
useful in the river than a
Just a
bell anchor that's going to
sailing.
go underneath a rock and catch.
Hmm. That's more for your pond and lake, I would assume. Well, unless
Yeah.
your lake has current in it, then you might be a little, you
Well,
know,
every lake has current.
wind driven
Uh,
current. Yeah.
Wind driven. There's also current from the stream that feeds it to the dam where it goes out. There is current. It's not just wind. You
Hmm.
can't see it. It's not moving so fast that it's going to sweep you around, but there's current. It's got to
Right.
come in. It's and if you go to a dam and look at it, there's water flowing out of it. So
Yeah.
I mean, there's current in there,
Hmm.
and a lot of people can't see the fact that it's got current.
Yeah.
I've had an argument about that. I said, "Is there a spillway?" Yes. Is there water going out the spillway? Yes.
Yes.
Then there's current because something's got to fill in the water enough to make it go out.
Yeah. It was
It,
interesting you brought that up because I was listening to Edwin Evers talk about his experience at Smith Mountain Lake. And he said, you know, when the wind was blowing, it was great. They were catching fish all the time because of the, the current and wind driven current. But when it was dead
right.
calm, there was still a current flow because they were pulling water.
Yeah.
So I never, and he said I was still catching fish because that current under the water was still flowing. And I was
Yeah.
like, makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah. And even when they're not drawing water, it's still water leaving.
Hmm.
I mean, it's not a great amount of water.
Right.
I mean, but there's always some water going out somewhere.
Right.
So, I mean, that's something that a lot of people don't understand is that there's something moving at all times.
Right.
I
Well,
mean,
Bruce, this is a great show. I hate to cut you off, but we're getting close. Uh,
yeah.
but again, I appreciate you coming on. Um,
Oh,
definitely, I will have you again. Um,
all right.
but where can we find you, or where can our listeners and followers find you?
Well, they can find my writing on the basscast.com.
Hmm.
That's first and foremost. And then they can find me on Facebook. It's Bruce Callis. Instagram and Threads and X. It's Bass Fishing NNVA. BASFISHINNNVA. Bass Fishing Northern Neck, Virginia.
Got you. Well, Bruce, I appreciate it, man. And if you have any questions for Bruce, he's very open and honest. He'll get back to you. So shoot him a
Yes.
message on Facebook. He'll answer all your questions.
Yeah.
But until next time, guys, Bruce, I appreciate it. And we
Oh,
will
my
catch you
pleasure,
again.
man.
Thank you.
All right. Y'all have a good one now.